When I moved in here, everyone in my family asked me, is it weird? When we moved in, we didn't know how long we'd be here for. I think my family were like, oh, Aaron can live there for a while and then we'll look into selling it. But because it's gone so well, I don't think they're going to sell it. I feel like it's mine in a way now. It's me and Nathan's, like we've looked after it. We've put a whole new stamp on it, and it means so much to me, it means so much to both of us. When I do leave here, I'll be more emotional than when I left my house that I grew up in. Because I just don't want it to not be in the family. My grandparents grew up in Dublin, both of them. My grandfather was older than my grandmother, so he was born in 1934. And then he met my grandmother in the late 40s. They lived in Dublin, on Charlemont Street, I believe it was. And then my father was born and they didn't have any room. My two uncles shared a bed, and my dad was born as a newborn baby, and they made a cot in a drawer. They pulled out the drawer and put like my dad in it, and they were like, we need a house. And they found 33 Dudonia Road. My favourite part of the house for me is that it always felt like a hub, like a home base. It's like you'd always come back here. It was because there was always someone here, so you'd always just show up. Or when you got here, you always felt like, oh, I can relax now. That's why I always feel really relaxed here, and I still feel like that. Oh, that's why I like bringing people here, because that's always what it was to me, was being brought here, and like coming over, seeing my grandparents. And now I get to carry that over and say, oh, people can come over here and enjoy this house, because it just feels very homely. Like some people get houses, especially when they're my age, and there's no sense of home in it. But this has been felt like home for me since I was born. So to now be here, it's just extending that and making it even better. Every Christmas we'd all come here, all the family members, and like you'd get here and then you'd all be waiting excited because you can see more cars just pulling up. Like I don't know how we fit all the cars into the garden. Like it would be my granddad's car, and then our car, and this car, and this car, and be all onto the road. And I always remember being young and be running around with my cousins and go, oh, what you got of Santa? What you got of Santa? So whenever I think of that, I think this house, being young, it was Christmas because that was the guaranteed day that we'd be here for a long time. When my grandfather passed away, I knew the house was going to be empty, and it was at a time where I wanted to move out. Nathan wanted to move out. Well, my uncle was like, hey, does anyone want to move in? And they all said no. And then my dad said, Aaron might want to move in. I did say I would move into this house. A month later, me and Nathan bought all our stuff here. I have such a deep connection to this house, and I have a long history. And Nathan sometimes feels that he's starting his connection to the house now, but he really appreciates the history in the house, which is nice. My grandfather was very handy, and he would constantly make things and break things. So there's a lot of things around the house still that he made, and that we still use, that like make the house better. And not only make it better, but like it's his stamp on it. Conservatory, that's all him. A lot of the extensions and stuff, him. Just one day decided to paint the kitchen. You know, we all showed up here one day and it was painted. This is like a 79-year-old man just decided to paint this kitchen. It took him weeks, but he did it, and that's just cool to me. That like, it's not just any random person painted it, he did. I think that helped me mourn in a really healthy way. It was like being at the epicenter of that. When people talk about this house, it'll be, oh yeah, then Aaron moved in with his friend. I will always have the memory that I moved in here. I will tell my kids I was lucky enough to be able to move into a house like this that was so important to me, and just continue that generation, that legacy that is important to me, and that I know is important to the rest of my family too.